Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name's Nicole, this is Vintage Betty Elaine. If you haven't already, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you like to see more foundation reviews on my channel. I'll also leave my socials in the description box, so come hang out with me on Instagram, Snapchat, check out my blog. Obviously you can tell from the video that we are going to be reviewing and wearing all day the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Finish Foundation, but I will be checking in throughout the day so you can see how it wears. I'm wearing it right now. I'm ready to go. And yeah, so without further ado, let's start this video. So I had picked this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation up. I'd actually picked it up probably about a month ago now. I'd heard on YouTube some good reviews on it and I really wanted to try it out. One, it is from Wet n Wild, and I have a couple other Wet n Wild products that I really like. Two, obviously it's drugstore and it's a super inexpensive drugstore brand. This foundation was only $8 Canadian at Walmart. Really inexpensive, and it's in a really nice glass bottle, really nice packaging. Definitely looks a little bit more expensive than it is. I got mine in the shade Soft Ivory. In hindsight, this one feels a little bit light on me if I'm just wearing it by itself. Obviously I can warm it up with a little bit of bronzer, so I don't really find an issue with it, but if I were to repurchase it, there is another one that I had been comparing it to that has just a little bit warmer of a shade that I would choose instead. And I've worn it quite a few times over the last few weeks. I've worn it in different ways. I've tried it out with just applying it with my cosmetic sponge. Give it a very light coverage. My xoxo Beauty foundation brush. I found that I didn't like how it looked as the day went on. Found that the way I like applying it the best is I dab it on my face, I apply it with the foundation brush, and then I go over and try to just melt it into my skin a little bit more with a cosmetic sponge. The other thing about this foundation that I'm not a super fan of is it is really thick. To me, it's like a medium to full coverage feel, but it doesn't necessarily give full coverage all the time, because I usually by the end of the day I would find on my chin stuff would be showing through, but it kind of would feel cakey. So what I found that the way I like to apply it is I actually take just a little bit of the foundation and I add in some of my lotion that I'm using, my moisturizer that I'm using right now. This is just from a new Hydra Pro Hydrating Milky Lotion from Avon that my stepmom brought back from Taiwan from me. She's from Taiwan. And then I also add in this, which I had recently purchased from Joe Fresh. This is the Illuminating Primer Long Wear Smooth Radiant Finish, and it just adds just a little bit of pretty shimmer to it. And maybe because it's summer, I'm looking for a little bit more of a lighter coverage, no makeup type look for my everyday. This might be better for maybe a evening look where you're not wearing it for as long, wanting a little bit more coverage. And because it does have the photo focus saying that there's no flashback, this might be a better foundation for, you know, an event like if you're going to a wedding or a dinner at night to put on. But for the $8 price tag, I mean, I'm not really complaining. It's not necessarily my favorite. I don't think I would repurchase it, partly because I just think it's okay, and then partly because I'm actually, you know, would be interested in trying out other foundations anyway. So I don't know. I don't totally recommend this. I also feel like if you have dry skin that you wouldn't like this, because like I said, I do feel like it gets kind of cakey looking. I feel like it would probably you know, really stick and accentuate any dryness to on your face. So if you have dry skin, let me know if you've tried this, if you have that issue, maybe you love it, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. So, okay, so I'm just gonna move you in a little bit closer here and we can start applying this makeup. Can't see now. Alright, so like I said, I usually take a little bit off of the spatula end and I just put it on the back of my hand. I don't want to take too much because I really just want a nice light coverage. I'll use concealer to cover up any spots that I'm dealing with, but this actually does offer some pretty good coverage. Take a little bit of that, and then I just mix it all together on the back of my hand. The other thing is the Wet n Wild foundation has quite an interesting smell. To me, it actually kind of smells like paint. The smell does go away, so it doesn't totally bother me, but it does have a strong smell. So if you're someone that is very scent adverse, you may not like that. But like I said, it doesn't really bother me because it does go away. So obviously I've already put on my eyebrows. I put on a little bit of eye makeup. For my day-to-day, I sometimes don't really wear that much eye makeup. Plus today I felt like I wanted to do a bolder lip. So my eyes are just very natural. Plus for a day-to-day look, and with it being really warm out, I really don't want to wear that much makeup. You can see it did cover up some of my little bit of redness, even out the skin tone just a little bit. Just take my dampened beauty blender and I just usually spray a little bit of my, facial mist water on the end, and I just go over and just try to melt the makeup. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, I already prepped my skin and primed it. Makeup Forever concealer. I don't like to add too much more of that foundation. I would prefer to cover up anything extra with the concealer, because I feel like if you add too many, try to build this, it's going to start to get that cakey look. I'm just going to take my little concealer brush and I'll put a little bit on there, and I'll just cover up or put it anywhere I want, just a little bit extra coverage. So I'm just using my e.l.f. small stipple brush. This again was in my last favorites, my April favorites. I'm already going to be filming a May favorites this Friday, if you can believe that. I can't believe May's almost over. The thing that I've been using is this concealer collection from Measurable Difference. As you can see here, I've hit pan on a couple of the shades. I know there was some not great reviews about the consistency, but I found a couple of the shades that I really like to use for mixing, which is kind of the cool thing about this palette. I use this, it's called Pecan, so I use this kind of peachy orange shade for right underneath my eyes, just to conceal any dark under circles. And then I had actually gotten this tip from Laura Lee, if you're familiar with her on YouTube. She did like an uncovering under eye video. I used this kind of thing before underneath. I'd seen it with like the red or the peach underneath, but then she had used this yellow type tone, not from this palette, but a yellow tone, kind of more in this area right here, just to brighten it up and obviously, make it look a little bit smoother. So then I use this, it's called Lemon Meringue. I use that shade right there. And then a lot of times I'll use these other shades. As you can see here, I kind of mix them to cover up any spots. Sometimes on my chest, I get sometimes some chest acne. And then the other thing is I really like this shade, Toasted Almond. I actually use this one to contour my nose. So I'll put a little bit on there. Also, sometimes if I feel like contouring my face, if I don't just put on bronzer, I'll use a little bit of it right there as well. So I actually really like this palette. Now I'm going to take my Joe Fresh Illuminating Concealer, but I like adding it just underneath, just to brighten up underneath the eye. With this one, I find I like doing one eye at a time. I feel like it blends a little better. To set my under eye with the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Bake Brighten and Set Loose Finishing Powder. It is that kind of banana shade. Take my cosmetic sponge again, a little bit of my spritz, and I'll just pat, dab, boom. Every time someone says that. I think it's funny. Try to melt it into the skin. So again, it's not sitting on the skin. It doesn't look powdery. I have more, I would say, combination, leaning towards more oily skin, I would say. So I don't want it to be powdery looking on my skin. So I am going to finish the rest of my face, you know, put on some bronzer, some highlight, my bold lip that I want to wear today, and I will be right back. Okay, so this is the final look. I've added obviously bronzer and some blush, a lip. I added this beautiful ColourPop Ultra Matte lip in the shade Tuesday that I had received in, I think it was my Glossy box. But I do like this foundation applied with moisturizer to lighten it up so it's not so kind of thick. It does look good, I find, you know, just if you're from far away. What I had found was throughout the day, if I were to look in the mirror, where I would see it is kind of around the mouth, nose area, where I would feel like I'd be able to see it a little bit more, which is why I'm not super impressed with this foundation. I would like it to melt in a little bit more just around the mouth area. But applying it the way I've been applying it and the way I've kind of had to figure out and work towards, I do like it a lot better applied this way with the moisturizer, kind of half moisturizer, half foundation, and using the combination of the brush and the sponge. So yeah, this is the look. This is kind of my everyday look for every day. Anyway, so I will check in with you guys kind of midday. Right now it is already 12:25. Oh man, I gotta leave. So I'll check with you midday, and then I'll check in with you at the end of the day. I won't be home till late, so it works out. I will be wearing this foundation for quite a while, so you can see the full effect of wearing it for, you know, a full day. So I will check in with you guys then. Okay, so I just wanted to do a little check-in. I mentioned this a few hours earlier. It's already 20 after 7, but this is what the makeup's looking like. Still looking pretty good, although, you know, like I said earlier, I can see it up close just a little bit more around my chin area, which isn't ideal, although I am suffering from a little bit of breakout, so it's kind of sticking to that a little bit. But other than that, I think from far away it still looks pretty good. Breaking up a little bit in between but my eyebrows, I would say, a little bit, but that's easy to smooth out. So yeah, it's looking pretty good though. I don't know if it's going to translate on camera per se, and it is breaking up a little bit just around my nose area. But like I said, just from, you know, if I'm standing in front of someone, I don't think it's that noticeable. It's more up close. So like I said, it's 20 after 7. I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Okay guys, this is my last check-in. It is 11:15. Just looking in the mirror, and I would say it looks pretty good on my forehead, on my cheeks. Again, the only place that it kind of wears is around the chin and kind of wears off, I find, right here, and then right here it kind of looks a little more flaky. I do like it more with wearing it with the moisturizer. I'd say it's okay. For $8, it's hard to go 100% wrong, but I believe there's better foundations out there. I'd love to hear your guys' suggestions for a really good summer foundation, something that's light, still has a little bit of coverage, doesn't feel like you're necessarily wearing foundation or look like you're wearing foundation. So let me know what your guys' suggestions are, both drugstore and high ends, you know, Sephora, that sort of thing. So, and that's it. So I will see you guys on my next video.